lifestyle decision. They'd just spent 2 nights in Charleston, at the base of a cabled bridge on the Cooper River, but their room had smelled of unfamiliar fur, and Catherine had found cat kibble under the bed. Only Karma had seemed to be in a good mood there. They'd squandered 2 afternoons walking through low-country cottages with eat-in kitchens and screened porches, with an agent who looked as if he were on spring break. He was young enough to be their grandchild, if they'd had one. What did he know about retirement or 401k plans? Or why a master bedroom on the main floor was actually a practical solution for their needs, not just a theoretical idea, good for resale? She'd wanted to fall in love with Charleston, with its history and southern charm, but the city had felt overpriced and sprawling. They could just stay in New Jersey if they wanted that. The historic district, with new shutters and fresh paint on old buildings, like an aging woman with too much eyeshadow, just made her sad. "It says they have a dog park," Catherine said, flipping through the Seven Oaks brochure. "A picket-fenced 6-acre playground of meadow and woods will keep your pooch and his people happy." Karma shook in the back seat. "Yes, baby, you'll get your own dog park, with TREATS. Catherine spelled out the word, careful to enunciate each letter. "Don't encourage him." "Treats, treats, treats," Karma barked. "And I'll tell you again once and for all," Ralph added. "He doesn't understand English. He's a DOG. "Oh, really?" She might have said more, but resisted. He had done most of the driving, after all, and had been touchy since he'd retired 4 months earlier. Since he'd arrived home one Friday night with an engraved plaque from his going-away luncheon and a single cardboard box of personal effects from his 40 years at the bank. "Or do calculus, or appreciate fusion or the power of compounding, or—" Catherine unclipped her seatbelt and swiveled around to the back seat. "A dog park!" Catherine shouted, too loudly for the small car. She was sorry at once. "It's just he's sensitive, and you never, ever appreciate him," she said quietly. He laughed a bit and shook his head. "And you never have." Fewer cars were passing them now as they headed east, toward the island. The road narrowed and Karma settled again into his car seat. It was time to make a decision. They were all going a little crazy. The last Charleston listing had been a roomy 3-bedroom on a cul-de-sac in Mount Pleasant. They were standing in the vaulted entryway when the young agent mentioned a local Thai restaurant, and Ralph had erupted, "I don't care about noodles, for God's sake. I just want to play golf." All the properties they'd seen had been adequate for their needs, but none of them had a sense of community or security. Living in a gated community wasn't on her bucket list, but the glossy print about the 24-hour manned gatehouse and 12-foot perimeter fence did sound comforting. Catherine wasn't as trusting as she used to be. That's why they'd gotten the dog in the first place. Even if she sometimes treated the dog like a baby, dressing him in colorful hats, Karma would certainly alert them to an intruder. At least that was the plan. But, bless his heart, the dog either didn't care or didn't know about security. When a serviceman knocked, he'd lift his head from the dog bed, then go back to sleep, annoyed. Ahead, the cirrus clouds melted into the horizon. A streak of orange appeared by the larger, distant bridge, the one that would transport them to the island. The gray-green marsh grass carpeted the shore. Catherine looked down and recognized that they were at the exact spot where the inside cover photo had been taken. There didn't appear to have been any airbrushing of the telephone lines or sleight of hand with a computer. The marsh was actually lovely in the fading light of afternoon. A motorboat idled in the intercoastal, and she could see the outline of large houses on the far shore. Maybe this could really work. Karma snorted again. "Just give us 5 minutes," Ralph whispered to their dog. Catherine continued reading aloud, certain her voice would soothe Karma and maybe her husband. "Seven Oaks offers a community of all ages with gated security and patrols. You'll find tranquility in the seclusion and safety of our island, which is conveniently located only 20 minutes from Savannah's historic district." She looked up as they reached the next bridge, a sleek structure that felt like a springboard into